We are.
All right, so I'm here with Danny, Mark, and Yul from Cocaine
Hotel.
Off to a great start. Hotel Cocaine. I've seen the pilot and a little bit, so let's talk about just piloty kinds of things. So, because we'll put out this video about that time that the pilot drops, and so in the pilot, looking at Roman. What do you think, Danny, that was running through his mind when he was put to the test with the man who his brother had instructed him to kill, and later when he has to go on the raid with his brother? And I mean, I can imagine he's thinking of protecting his daughter, but he's so decisive in acting that I think there's more to it. What do you suppose is running through his head right then?
Well, first of all, thank you, Paul, for the interview. I think something that Chris Brancato, our showrunner and main writer, starts to reveal about Roman is how tactical he is. We don't quite know why yet, but later on in the series, we find out why he has such a calculating and strategic approach to violence, and especially when his brother Nestor, played by America's Yul Vazquez, Cuban America's Yul Vazquez,
by America Ferrara.
She's fantastic, by the way. When he tests Roman in the screening room, I think Roman has a quick calculus of, do I kill this man who's clearly been tortured and to Roman's mind is innocent, right, and doesn't deserve that penalty. Mm-hmm. Whether he kills him or whether he gets killed, whether Roman, by not following through with it, reveals his hand, that he is actually not all in to help his brother,
right,
and thereby causing his own demise. Or does he use that gun that he's been handed and try to take out his brother and his 4 or 5 henchmen, and risk not really being able to do that with just one weapon,
right?
And at the moment that the gentleman who's been tortured and hanging looks at Roman, there's a tortured poetic moment that the light just hits one of his eyes, and in Roman's mind he's begging to be put out of his misery. And I think to allow Roman to take that next step psychologically, that's what he does.
I'm just going to add to that. There are these moments in our lives where the balance of our lives hang, in the wake of that moment. And between Chris Brancato's writing, Guillermo Navarro's filming, and Danny's acting in that moment, and the way they heighten that moment, you see it all happen in real time, that he's making a decision, and that decision will have consequences, and that's the rest of the show.
Yeah, and Mark says he has his finger right on the pulse. I think one of the themes is, how far are you willing to go for your family? Mm-hmm. And to not come home to his daughter is not an option.
There's an element to the scene that I think is remarkable. Was Guillermo's idea, and he's screening, so he's projecting an old MGM musical. You see the guys tied up.
Yeah.
You can see the movie projecting because it's a screening room of my home. So he's tied up and he's screening this black and white MGM musical, and the people are dancing. And there's a shot, I think when Danny shoots him, there was one take where somebody's the woman's smiling, and she's toot, 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 and
yeah, and then they start
to twisted, applaud. Right? And they start to applaud.
Yeah,
they're applauding, and the guy Danny, it is so diabolical. I'm like, Guillermo Navarro, Dark Man.
Yeah. There's also something really subtle that Yul does. It's the only subtle thing he does the entire season. It's a really the moment is so I love watching it, and when he did it, it showed so much about Nestor Cabal, his character. So when he asked for la fuca, which is a Cuban slang for a weapon, for a gun, and he hands it to me. He hands it to me in such a casual way.
Right.
Like he was passing me a comb,
Chips, right?
or chips, or
Right.
it's just something. It's so casual because he is so comfortable with the daily use of violence. It just speaks volumes of these two brothers who've grown so far apart.
Yeah, they're so different in
Yeah.
that moment. Danny's like, "Oh my fucking god," and I'm like, "What's the problem?
Yeah.
It's what we do." You know,
But also, there's a hint of suspicion in his eyes. Like, is my brother going to be
Yeah.
loyal to me? And it's so casual, but it is so charged,
Yeah.
so high stakes.
Absolutely.
What will my brother do?
Venmo Danny $50. I just wanted to
He does it
I
so,
got it. Thank you.
It's
He does
amazing.
it so casually. The Venmo.
Whether it's handing over a snub nose 357 or Venmoing
that's
$50, he's just casual.
The
about it.
357.
By the way, that was one question. That was one question.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, Mark, what's Burton's deal?
What is Burton's deal?
So Burton's deal.
What is Burton's deal?
When I look at him, the way that he responded in the pilot to Thompson's just flashing moment of approval, I guess it's like the guy just needs someone to accept him, because it's almost like he's like, I've got this hotel, I just want, and I don't want to be in my family, I want to be my own man, but I want someone to like me too.
Yeah, no, you're hitting on something actually deep about the character. I mean, we're living in a time where we're so aware of mental health issues and feeling marginalized, but this is a time where that was not front and center in the national discourse.
Was not a thing.
No, it was not a thing. And Burton tells Rick James, the famous rock star, in a private moment, that he grew up feeling a little bit like a freak, like a misfit, and that he built this hotel as a home for misfits like himself. So yes, I think Burton has trouble adjusting, and he built this beautiful place with all these incredible rooms like the Marquis de Sade suite and the aquatic erotic suite. And so that validation, that approval that he's seeking from a guy like Hunter S. Thompson, who is one of his idols, he's seeking from all these brilliant creative types that he has built this hotel to host, because he knows what it's like to feel on the outside, and that's why he built this place.
Okay, Yul. With Nestor, on the other hand, at a certain point in the brothers' lives, they took two different paths, and Nestor seems to have hardened up and become the man that you need to be in order to lead a criminal organization. But are we actually gonna find out that he's a drug lord with a heart of gold?
I think we are many things. People are many things. I think Nestor's hardening comes much earlier. Comes when him and his brother go sign up for the Bay of Pigs invasion. I think it's a different hardening. That was a volunteer position, but I think that hardens him. I think failure of that hardens him even more. I think he's fueled with not unlike many Cubans in Miami, with the dream of returning to Cuba. He's Cuban.
Right.
He's forced to flee something, not out of his own free will, because he despises a certain regime, communist dictatorship, and I think he's hardened by many things. I think he's a guy trying to do the best he can with his abilities, and he has a certain ability to sell cocaine. And does he have a heart of gold? I think he has. I think he's a three-dimensional heart. Maybe it's of gold, maybe it's not. Maybe it's, I don't know. I think I think humans are many things at the same time.
Not to give too much of a cliffhanger for Nestor, but but I think it will be revealed later in the season. Not necessarily, making a judgment on, what substance his heart is made of, but certainly his motivations for, doing what he does and becoming what he is will be more revealed than just, this, cocaine cowboy in Miami.
It's not that simple.
No, you need that when a guy presents as a villain per se. You can't just have him. Well, he just loves money and drugs. That story's been told too much.
And some people do though. Some people are like, hey, I love money and drugs. You know what I mean? And I love the easy life, with no sort of aim. But this is not the case with this guy. But not, that's why I'm saying we are many things. But yeah, Danny's right. Something will be revealed. And I think maybe some things will make sense to,
It's quite a tease.
yes.
And without giving too much away, it's obviously something much greater than himself, and it's why hiring two genuine, authentic Cuban Americans from Miami to play these two brothers makes it so powerful.
Yeah, we both have the stamp, the Cuban American
Yeah,
seal of approval.
Yeah, it's a little tattoo.
Cuban American
Right
stamp.
there.
I can't show it to you.
Where the tramp stamp goes.
Right, this is a PG YouTube video.
I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
lay it on me.
How do you sync the Zoom? Is that a Zoom?
This is a...
That's a Tascam one?
Tascam, yes.
How do you sync that to the video? on the
Carefully.
iPhone?
Yeah.
Carefully, right?
Yeah.
So it's not reading SMPTE code.
No.
Interesting.
I have a more technical question than that.
Is it-
Why do you get the hairy mic and we get the bald ones?
Yeah.
Well, it's a budgeting issue, really. It's
Have you
yeah.
considered an animated character for that?
Trolls.
Good luck with the show. I like the way it looks. I mean, it looks. I was telling the producers, it looks like a relic. Like I've invested some more time watching things like French Connection or Dog Day Afternoon, things from the '70s that are.
It's a huge compliment. The guy who photographed it and sort of designed the visual is a brilliant. Guillermo Navarro is
a visionary.
He's visionary. Exactly. He's like, his hand is all over the show.
Yeah, it's also on his Oscar.
His hand is also on his Academy Award.
His
Yeah,
hands aren't on the show.
that's exactly
hands
right.
on
That's
it.
exactly right. But he's. I'm sorry, you'll probably have a chance to talk to him at some point. But he's shooting Godfather or Harlem at the moment in New York City. But he's,
Yeah, a brilliant visual mind.
brilliant
It comes
guy.
through.
Yeah,
And his whole family, his son is a camera operator, his other son is VFX. I mean, the whole family is just soup to nuts, like.
And then when you add Adela Cortázar,
Yeah.
her wardrobe,
Her design.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raimundo Cabrera's
Production
sets
design, yeah.
and production design, I mean, you are transported.
You are.
sort of back.
The
in
fashion,
70s.
for sure. I
And then
mean,
the music.
the
Yeah,
suits you
these-
guys have to
These things here,
wear.
these things here, these sideburns here.
They really
That's
help.
an effect?
That's the
As well.
key.
Yeah.
That's what you were getting when you said the 70s look.
Exactly
Just
right.
slap those on. You're in the 70s.
Your burns go down.
Yeah, no, the burn, yeah, deep burns.
Oh my God.
We're bringing them back.
We got